Hello again, and welcome to another completely unprofessional unboxing. My name is Scott, sometimes known as OrcusDorkus in social media circles, and we're going to take a look at something that I got on eBay. Quick note, this is an overdub. The sound that I did with this was complete trash, so hopefully I will do my best to keep in time with what's going on in the video, but who the hell knows. Also, son and daughter not available for this. They are busy at school, but I wanted to get something out. And this particular one would be something that they probably wouldn't be interested in. So we'll save other unboxings for their wonderful sense of humor and presence. So, what do we got here? This is, as you can tell by my hands resting on it, a package that I received on eBay. It is something that I feel was an excellent price, and what's inside comes highly recommended. So we've got my trusty steak knife down there that I'm going to use to open this thing up, and we will take a look and see what's inside. So let's begin. Anytime now. There we are. And I'm going to go ahead and cut through this thing. All you're missing is the wonderful crinkly sounds as I try to cut through this box and this tape with a dull camping steak knife that probably hasn't been used or sharpened in many years. But once again, completely unprofessional, so I am on key. And a little hint as we open this thing up, as we remove the plastic and get through there, and dun 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 dun. Da-na, na-na-na, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. All right, enough. So, what we have here is the James Bond 007 role-playing in Her Majesty's Secret Service, the complete basic set, brought to you by Victory Games Incorporated. Sealed, mind you. This game comes recommended, well, highly recommended by several people, but most importantly, Pookie from Reviews at Relia has been known to say that this here is possibly the best RPG, well, the best licensed RPG there is. It completely covers and encapsulates what the James Bond experience would be, well, in the 80s. So taking a look at the box, looks like it is factory sealed. This is not one of these scams that someone seals it, you open it up, and you find it's full of rubber bands and, decades old M&Ms. Who knows? But what I'm going to do here may shock some of you collectors out there, but this is not something for me to put on the shelf and gaze longingly at like most trophies. No, this is something that I bought to play. I never experienced this game in my youth. I never had a chance to play it, and since I'm currently going through my RPG midlife crisis, I am venturing back in time to try out these games that I never had an opportunity to enjoy, and take a look at them, see if it's something that I might have liked, or it's something that, hey, it wasn't for me, but at least I'm able to give it a try. Also to note, this is sealed once again, as I had mentioned. This thing sealed probably goes for well over $100 or more, but I'm going to do something here in a minute and open this thing up because, as stated before, I got this to play. So as soon as Recorded Scott decides to grab that damn steak knife, we will open this box up and see what is inside. There we are. There's a little pokey hole in there. Being extra careful with this, as it's not wrapping on a packaging or wrapping on a box. Folding it open. tearing that off. Excuse me, I'm a little congested this morning. So, let's take a look and see what's inside. Sliding right off. And the first thing you see here is an advertisement from Avalon Hill. Be all that you can dream with heroes. Avalon Hill's role-playing game magazine. Soon to come out in the middle of 1984. Wow. Spring 84. So this is nice. I enjoy these things because it's like a time capsule. When you get these old box sets and they either haven't been used or everything has been kept in relatively good mint condition. It's a little look at the past. So we have the James Bond 007 basic game introductory or instruction book, and looks like including an introductory adventure. It is a thick book. Flipping through it, it is jam-packed with tons of information, utilizing the font from the 80s, where it seems to be things were a little bit smaller. So going to need to get out the old reading glasses to take a look at this in detail. But the layout seems to be excellent, as we see classic vehicles there, weapons. And as I get to the front, I'm going to turn around and kind of give it another flip through in the opposite direction. But yeah, this is not a light little game. It definitely looks like it's going to include everything you need to enjoy your 007 spy career. We have creating a character. There's the character sheet. Looking at it, it is skill-based. Not entirely sure if the ability scores are point-based system or if you're rolling for it. I'll know more about that as I read through the book. And also in the middle of there, we have a multiplication table that kind of is nice, especially since this game was originally said to be for 12 and older. So as you're seducing that 28-year-old woman, you don't have to worry about, the multiplication table scores of your success or failure. You can just look right on there. As we flip through the book, we have other things dealing with aspects of the game. We had combat. We have hand-to-hand combat. Chases. Very interested in reading this because I still have yet to find a game that really does chases in a good fashion. Apologies, Chaosium. I do enjoy your chase rules, but it's still one of those things where I believe it's hard to just find that sweet spot between the dramatic action of a chase and not being bogged down by, game mechanics and rules. Rules for seduction, obviously a key component in old school 007 scenarios, I would imagine. Gambling, how to cheat at roulette, how to cheat at poker. There's the old Las Vegas Boulevard, Skyline, dealing with fame as you go through your career equipment. I mean, there's, just like with the Batman game, most of the things that you deal with within the life of working on Her Majesty's Secret Service is the wonderful gadgets and weapons that will be at your disposal. As we see, there's some classic Bond vehicles, along with details, ships, airplanes, rotocopters. So you may recognize some of these from the older movies. The classic submarine car. And so on and so forth. As we flip through, dealing with tarot cards, not entirely sure what that is. Not being familiar with this game whatsoever. Not really sure on what all is used. There were dice that came in this box, which we'll point out here a little bit later. Kind of wondering what component the tarot cards come into play. Cities within the James Bond universe, the adventure, the Island of Dr. No, introductory game. That, as noted, could be done solo or with a GM, which is great. I love games that have that aspect of having the solo option. just like Chaosium does. The old Maelstrom game had that kind of a, allows you to learn the game without showing up with your players, and at a certain point flipping through and stumbling around as you're not entirely sure what's going on when you hit a key moment within the game. It's always nice to have a run through. Character record sheet in the back, and just going through it one more time, and great. An excellent book. An excellent book, just from flipping through. Looks like I'm going to have fun reading that. We have a pad of character sheets. Fairly thick paper. Seems to be some sort of newsprint. I would imagine that if this box had been opened in '84, that time would have taken its toll on this paper in one way or another, or more than likely, these would not be available at all. They probably would have been used up. In playing this game, if I bring it to a table, obviously going to do photocopies, and we'll just keep those safe. An odd little aspect, there's the outline of the basic game book with a numeric kind of index there, separate from the book. Likewise, an advert for additional adventures. For your James Bond game, all of them seem to have a classic tone with them, or at least associated with some of the old movies. Octopussy and Dr. No. There's the Q manual there, amongst other things that became available after the game came out. And additional information. I'm going to go ahead and set that aside there. Come on, Scott, set it aside. I don't know what you were saying about that, but that doesn't look as interesting as you thought it was then. More adverts. As stated, this, I may be in a camp by myself, but I really enjoy these things. It is a blast to the past. Kind of seeing where the game industry was, where its focus was at the time. Victory Games seemed to have, some sort of association with Avalon Hill. I'm sure I heard about it in some of my readings in the history of RPGs, but just drawing a blank at it now. But as you can see, there are war games associated with that. And this was interesting. A games and parts price list from Avalon Hill, March 26, 1984, at which time they've already claimed over 25 years of gaming. I know some people love these things. This is in itself a collector's item. As you can see, what was available to purchase through various game companies. And I think these are more collector's items as they're very nostalgic. RuneQuest 3 coming in May, or RQ3 coming in May. Heroes of the RPG magazine. More adventures for James Bond. Fantasy and science fiction games and strategy and war games. Video games for Atari. I mean, holy crap. I honestly couldn't tell you if I played any of these or even if they were available where I'm at. Microcomputer games. Some of these things that I know I've had to have touched on or tried. We have our little pull-out envelope insert if you want to order anything. And some diagrams of the different games and their categories. Neat little thing. Neat little book. And pausing on the microcomputer games, trying to figure out if I'd played any of those. None of them ring a bell. Leisure time and family games, miscellaneous merch, sports games. And going to pause right there for a moment. Okay, so back again. Had a little knock at the door. My dad is here for a little visit. Anyways, wrapping this up, putting that away, and then also a little questionnaire regarding your experience with their games. Don't know how many of you ever filled any of these out, but generally speaking, how was your experience with our game? How was your, what'd you think of the rules? Did you feel that, there was any issues with it? And just your standard marketing questionnaire so they can continue on producing excellent games. Now, I know that there is a particular history with Victory Games as far as how long they lasted in the industry, but we'll go over that later time. And dice. We've got 2 6-sided dice here, look like refugees from an old Yahtzee game, and 2 10-sided dice with the numbers not colored in. So these reflect, the dice manufacturing at the time. The excellent condition, both of those dice. We'll definitely be using them with the game. And that's about it. So let's put everything back in, wrap it up, and put a nice, neat bow on it all. So this looks like it's going to be an excellent game to run. Looking forward to doing this, hopefully maybe by the summertime. I'm not sure if I'm going to run it online or if things are good here or good enough in California, running it at my game store. But very excited, very, very excited. This was a pleasant surprise. It seemed like this is a self-contained, all-in-one game that could provide hours of fun just in the box alone. With the addition of the adventures and whatnot, I'm sure this would be something that would be a great blast, especially if you just embrace that, that kind of semi-campy, semi-serious, semi-wonderful nature of the 007 genre at that time in the 80s, and could definitely, have a lot of wonderful tongue-in-cheek moments and adventures as you're playing this. So there you go. That's James Bond 007, Role-Playing in Her Majesty's Secret Service, the complete basic set. Hope you enjoyed this video, and definitely look forward to seeing you all next time when I unbox another one. Next one I'm looking to do is going to be a special one from Planet X Game with my daughter Taylor. So this one or the next one should be a lot more fun, a lot more engaging, and you don't have to listen entirely to my droning voice as we make our way through another video. Have yourselves an excellent day.